Now, if you ask the right amount of projects, there is no formula that exists on how many projects a company should run at a given time. But a well-designed projects are most likely to make greater impact than a poorly designed, overlapping, unfunded projects. How many of you have gone through Six Sigma projects? Type me in the chat box if you have gone through Six Sigma projects. How many of you have gone through Six Sigma projects? Anybody who has gone? Okay, fine. Those who have gone through Six Sigma projects, how many projects have you done? Just give me a number. How many projects have you given me? Only those who have done some projects. Okay, there are some people who have done one project. There is somebody who has one failed attempt. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you for sharing. All right. Now, there is three basic criteria for a project start. Okay, there is three basic criteria. What is this criteria? The organization should only start the project if we can have funding. Okay, because Six Sigma projects need some funding. So companies should choose their project based on budgets. How many of you agree with me? It requires some, because at least for training the people on the capability level, it requires funding. Okay. Okay, now I have given you one criteria. Okay, I have put three basic criteria. What do you think the other two criteria will be? Let me make it interesting and engaging. What do you think should be other two criteria? Time, okay, project scope, okay, data, okay, approval. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you for your participation. Okay, the second criteria is provide the required people. Okay. How many of you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how many of you agree that required people are required? Six Sigma projects need employees at all levels. The company should not start too many projects at once, especially if all need the same key people like IT staff, or the director of compliance, whatever it is. Overloading employees can lead to burnout. How many of you super agree with me? Overloading employees can lead to burnout, low morale, poor quality, and disruption of daily business tasks. Many projects fail because they are overloaded with too many projects. Okay. Super. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. The third one is somebody told. You need to be able to, you need the skill set, and mindset to really manage the projects well. That you should not start any project if you cannot manage. On a scale of 1 to 10, how many of you? Give me a 9 or 10 if you agree with me. Project teams need some good leadership. And normally, black belts lead these projects. And they put green belts to work, because green belts bring in data. Generally, an experienced black belt, I'm the master black belt, internationally qualified Lean Six Sigma master black belt. An experienced black belt can handle more than one project at a time, especially if they don't have daily tasks, because black belts are exclusively given for this. Okay, so now let's get into enterprise level selection process. So normally, when companies apply the Six Sigma culture to the entire organizations, executive leaders and decision makers should work directly with Six Sigma experts to identify improvement opportunities and launch projects. They have to be strategically clear that they want to go through this route and drive improvements through this project. The top management has to be committed. There are three reasons why it will fail. Number one reason, all of you type TMC in the chat box. Top management commitment. Number one is top management commitment. Number two reason why it will fail is, please type TMC, top management commitment. And number three reason why it will fail is top management commitment. If top management is not committed to help people learn the skills and crystallize the projects and drive the projects towards organization, then this is not going to happen. If you agree with me, give me a super thumbs up like this. Okay, great. All right, thank you very much. Now, 5-step procedure. I'm going to talk about 5-step procedure for identifying a viable Six Sigma improvement project. 5-step procedure. Okay, take some good notes. And after this 5-step procedure, I'm going to ask, there is going to be a quiz time. I'm going to ask questions on this. Okay. So how many of you are ready? Now type ready in the chat box. I want all of you to be ready, focused, because after I explain this 5 steps, I'm going to ask a quiz. Okay. Good. Thank you. Now, the first step, data-based review of the current state of the organization. You need to know the current state of the organization through the data. As a patient, if you go to the doctor saying some problems, first he will say, take blood test, urine test, this test, that test, because he wants the data of your current body capability, current body situation. Data-based review of the current organization. Second, once you're clear about the organizational objective, you have to brainstorm and describe potential projects, project by project approach. Because when you want to meet an objective in the area of quality, in the area of cost, in the area of delivery, in the area of new products, something is coming on the way, and you need to identify what is coming on the way to reach my goal, and that becomes a project. And so we need to brainstorm on that and describe potential projects. Now you'll have a laundry list of projects. You cannot take all the projects like I told before. So you need to have some criteria on filtering and choosing, selecting the right projects, few projects. So I will suggest to use some unique business criteria and use the business criteria to prioritize the project list. Okay. Okay, first, data-based review of the current organizations. Let us go a little deeper on this. So when you review this data, it has to be internal information and external information. You should ask this following questions. What type of things are customers or employees complaining about? Because you always, what is the pain area that they are having? Okay. What is the pain or challenge? All of you type PC in the chat box. What is the pain? What is the challenge that they are having? All right. That's very important because it is to solve the pain. Six Sigma project should not become a pain. Okay. This project should relieve customers or employees about their pain. Okay. And secondly, where is the gap? Okay. Where is the organization falling short of benchmarks or competitor performance? The competitor is far ahead. We are where is that gap? So that is one criteria. What is the customer needs that the organization not meeting? We've heard about voice of customers. What is that voice of customer that we are not really listening and meeting in terms of their requirement? And you should also be proactive. Okay. What needs customers have in the near future that the organization is not able to meet? And where are most defects happening? Which process is spitting out a lot of defects? And which process is giving you a lot of rework? And what are the slowest and most expensive process in the organization? And obstacles. What are the obstacles that is keeping the organization from reaching its goals? So these are some 8 criteria that I have given to collect the data so that you assess the current state. If you found this 8 criteria was useful, type useful in the chat box. If you find it super useful, type SU in the chat box. All right. So we'll go to the second criteria. All right. Now, answer to the questions in step 1 creates a list of potential projects, like the earlier step what we did in the last slide, what I've explained. It will give you the list of potential projects. Now you ask what customers are complaining about. And one of the ways to receive the voice of the customer is surveys, feedback forms, which reflects whether the customer are happy, unhappy, and what they are complaining about. Is it about delivery? Is it about product quality? Is it about some customer service? Okay. So they can identify possible projects, so that a project to speed up the delivery order, a project to improve product quality, and project to enhance customer service. So if brainstorming and describing potential is clear, type BS in the chat box. Brainstorming is clear, type BS in the chat box. Superb. Okay, thank you. Okay, I wanted an active engagement because this is a sort of, though it is theoretical, it's very, very important for people who really want to go through this route to understand. Okay, so apply some basic criteria to shorten the list. Now that you have assessed the current state with a lot of information and had a laundry list of process, in the second step you had brainstormed and selected. Now you have to shorten the list. So that's why I say, once you have the list of possible projects, they can use a simple criteria. What is that criteria? Let me share with you. To remove the projects that's not suitable, that's not feasible, that's not viable, and that don't fit the Six Sigma methods, that are poorly defined or likely won't give returns. Okay. Okay. Now, first remove those items where there's no real problem. Sometimes there might not be any real problem. There is no significant gap between the current state and the desired stage, and there is nothing to improve. First, you remove that. That's obvious. For example, if one employee is complaining about software efficiency and no one else is having that issue, then it doesn't need any further improvement. Okay. How many of you really relate to what the example that I've shared? Type ICR if you can relate to this. How many of you can really relate to this? Because only one person is complaining and no one else is having an issue, right? Great. Okay, a lot of people can relate. I'm very happy about this. Superb. Second, remove the issues which is obvious problem. See, anything which you know the solutions and you're not implementing, do not put a Six Sigma methodology, for God's sake. Okay. And the solutions, if the solution is known and you've been delaying for a long time, please do not, for God's sake, put it as a Lean Six Sigma methodology. How many of you can relate to this? Type ICR in the chat box. If a vendor said materials were faulty and provided a solution, the company needs to act. Okay. Don't put it in the Six Sigma methodology, please. Great. Highly relate. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Good. And now you have to create a unique, 2 more criteria. And after that, there is a quiz time. Okay. 2 more criteria. Now you need to create a unique business criteria. After removing projects that don't fit into Six Sigma, the team should use business criteria to narrow down the list. The business criteria should include some factors like cost, profits, impact on customer satisfaction, urgency. I'll see that. Okay, let's see that. But these questions are helpful. How will the improvement affect profit, orders, or income? What saving will this improvement create? Is the problem getting worse quickly or we wait to fix it? How much will the improvement cost? And how many employees or hours will the improvement need? What resources are needed for improvement? So if these questions are clear, type CC, crystal clear, in the chat box. Okay. If the questions are clear, type CC, crystal clear, in the chat box. Because this is, I'm not explaining in depth because it's something very fundamental, right? All right. Now, use business criteria to prioritize project list. This is the last criteria, and after this we'll have some 5-question quiz. Then I will share this presentation. Okay. What is a business criteria? So we want the most important project to come first, and that's why the criteria is required to prioritize the project. So it's a good way to make what I call is a selection matrix. So this matrix should use a clear criteria and sort of numerical ranking system to decide which projects are most important. How do you do that? Okay, I'll give you a template actually once I explain one of the examples. Okay, for example, we can use the following criteria to rank our projects. Potential saving might be one criteria. Potential cost might be another criteria. Increase in revenue can be one criteria, right? And some people also put this, whether I can get access to resources or not. Do we have enough resources or not for this project? That is also one criteria. And this is not written on rock, okay? This is flexible. You can choose your own criteria according to your organization. Okay? We can then do a matrix form. I'll give you a Google Sheet downloadable template, okay? And with these criteria and list of our projects, each project is rated against each criteria using this is going to be very interesting template. Okay, this template what I have just made for you. Let me see if I can cover that example. I'll give it today or in the subsequent session. Okay, I'll add it in the resources also. In our example, we can use a sort of 1 to 10 scale for the criteria. We can use weighted averages, okay, etc., etc. All right, this is the quiz time. How many of you are ready for quiz? Type ready in the chat box. And after this quiz, I'm going to share these 8 chapters presentations. Okay, good. Okay, just a quick question. So far, if you found this session interesting, useful, valuable, fantastic, awesome, put it in the chat box. Let me draw some inspiration and proceed with the quiz for the day. Thank you. Right. These are all very logical, simple quizzes, okay, which you can answer. The first question is, who should executive leaders work with to identify Six Sigma opportunities? Even without Six Sigma knowledge, you can answer this question logically, okay? But with the session today, you'll be able to, without any subjectivity, able to answer these questions, okay? So who should executive leaders work with to identify middle management, Six Sigma experts, frontline employees, customers? Now, this is a sort of, you should use your mind, a deeper understanding to give the answer. I'll open up the chat box. Let's see. Fantastic. Let's see where the maximum. And those who did not give the correct answer can stay calibrated with the correct answer. Okay. Okay. Most of you have given B. All right. The correct answer is B. Okay. Fantastic. 4 more questions to go. What is the first step in identifying viable Six Sigma improvement project? What is the first step? Brainstorming potential projects, applying business criteria, reviewing the current state data, and creating project descriptions. Let's see who gives this. Good. All right. All right, thank you very much for this answer. The correct answer is reviewing the current. Because I had explained this in my slides, you are able to fix it. If I didn't explain you this, probably people would go elsewhere, right? Okay. Okay, three more questions to go. Which of the following is not a question organization should ask? Please remember this way of asking the question. Which of the following is not a question organization should ask when reviewing internal and external information? What are the customer complaining about? What needs might customer have in the near future? How many employees will be needed for the future? What processes are known for most rework? This is a tricky, right? Okay. We are not going to talk about employees at this stage. Okay. At the project charter, yes, but not reviewing the internal and external information. All right. Two more questions to go. What should the teams do after brainstorming a list of potential projects? Okay, before I share the answers, let's see if you remember what I shared in my presentation. What should the teams do after brainstorming the potential projects? Priority projects pick up. Okay. Okay. I'll show the answers now. Validate assumptions, create a short description of projects, implement the solutions immediately, compare projects with competitor projects. What should the teams do after brainstorming a list of? From these you can choose, okay? All right, let's see this. Create a short description of the project is the most closer answer, okay? And the last question is, what is the key factor to consider when creating a business criteria for project selection? Is it the project location? Is it the impact on customer satisfaction? Is it color of project materials or employee opinions? Very easier question, right? So I'm sure this is an easier one. Sometimes in life, something comes very easy. Impact on customer satisfaction.